Something moved in the heavens over your life. Not quietly, not without weight, the kind of movement that does not happen for ordinary circumstances. The kind that happens when God has been watching a chosen one walk through something that was never supposed to break them and they did not break. When a life refuses to stop. When faith holds past every point where logic said it should have failed. Heaven took notice. And chosen one, what is being set in motion over your life right now has not been seen before in the way it is being assembled for you. Number one, God is moved by faithfulness that endures beyond its reasonable limit. There are moments in the journey of a chosen one that move God, not because he is surprised, because what he sees in them confirms what he always knew was there. And when a chosen one endures past the point where the endurance makes any visible sense, when they hold on past the last logical reason to hold on, when they choose faith in a moment that has no supporting evidence, something stirs in heaven. Scripture is full of these moments. The widow who keeps knocking, the father who runs toward the returning son before the son has finished his speech, the woman who reaches through the crowd to touch the hem of a garment, believing that touching is enough. God responds to that quality of faith differently from ordinary faith, not because ordinary faith is without value, because extraordinary endurance reveals something about the heart that moves the heart of God. You have been in an endurance you did not expect, a season that went longer than it should have, that asked more than seemed reasonable to give, and you kept going, not perfectly, not without struggle, but you kept going. And that keeping going, in the specific circumstances of your specific season, is the thing that stirred what was stirred. Number two, what is being assembled for you required specific preparation that only your journey could produce. There are things coming toward your life in this season that could not have been received by an earlier version of you, not because the earlier version was unworthy, because the earlier version did not yet carry what receiving this requires, the depth, the groundedness, the tested faith, the specific kind of wisdom that only comes through the kind of journey you have walked. God does not send what a person cannot steward. He builds the capacity first and then fills it. And what he has been building in you through every difficult season, every disappointment that forced deeper roots, every delay that developed deeper patience, all of it was the construction of the capacity for what is now being prepared to arrive. History has not seen this specific combination before. Your specific calling, your specific formation, your specific moment in time, the specific way your life will express what God has placed in it. These things do not repeat. Every chosen one carries a unique assignment and a unique journey. And the assignment moving toward your life right now has been prepared for this specific version of you that the journey produced. You could not have received it sooner. You are ready for it now. Number three, the divine realm is not distant from your ordinary life. It is woven through it. One of the most powerful shifts that happens in a chosen one's understanding is the shift from thinking of the divine realm as separate from ordinary life to understanding that it moves through ordinary life constantly. The realm where God operates is not removed from the streets you walk, the conversations you have, the decisions you make in the small moments that feel like they carry no weight. It is woven through all of it. The divine is present in the ordinary moment where you chose kindness when cruelty would have been easier, in the quiet morning where you gave God the first part of your day before the demands began, in the choice to keep believing on a day when keeping believing cost something real. The divine realm was stirred not by something spectacular that happened in a cathedral or at a mountaintop. It was stirred by you, in the ordinary circumstances of your ordinary days, choosing faithfully, holding on sincerely, being genuinely who God made you to be in the spaces where no one was watching and no reward was visible. That is where God most often moves. In the ordinary faithfulness of the chosen one, who has not stopped living according to what they believe even when the believing is costly and the audience is only God. Number four, what has never been seen before is the combination that is you. This is not flattery. It is the honest reality of how God works. He does not create duplicates. Every person who has ever lived carried a unique combination of gifts, history, perspective, calling, and moment in time that has never existed before and will never exist again in the same form. There is no template for what you carry. no previous version of it in the record of history. And what God assembles for a chosen one is always matched to the unique combination they carry, which means what is being assembled for your life right now is also something that has not existed in the same form before, because the person it is being assembled for has not existed before. This is not about being the most important person. Every chosen one carries something irreplaceable. It is about understanding that your assignment is not a modified version of someone else's. It is original, designed for you, matched to the specific shape of everything you are and everything you have been formed into through the journey you have walked. History has not seen this before because you have not happened before. And what God does through a life that is genuinely and fully expressed in its specific calling adds something to the story of humanity that was not there before it. Number 5, the stirring in the divine realm produces movement in the visible one. When God moves in the spiritual realm, the movement does not stay there. It translates into the visible circumstances of the chosen one's life, into doors that open, connections that form, opportunities that arrive through channels that no human planning could have arranged, into the specific provision that the next season requires appearing at the precise moment it is needed. This is why this stirring matters practically. It is not only a spiritual event that has no visible expression, it is the beginning of a sequence that moves from the invisible into the visible. From what God set in motion in the realm that you cannot see into the circumstances of the life that you can. Pay attention in this season to the movement around you, the unexpected, the unplanned, the conversation that happened without your engineering it, the door that swung open in a direction you were not primarily watching, the person who appeared in your path with something that is exactly what the next step requires. That is the translation of the divine stirring into visible reality. It has begun. And the chosen one who is alert enough to see it and grounded enough to receive it is the one who walks into what God has assembled without missing it because they were not watching. Number 6, what God stirs over a chosen one, he also guards over them. The stirring of the divine realm over your life is not just the movement of provision and opportunity. It is also the movement of protection. When God is actively involved in what he is assembling for a chosen one, he is simultaneously guarding the process, making sure what is being built is not undermined, that the opposition which always rises when something significant is being assembled cannot reach the core of what is being prepared. You have been guarded in this season in ways you may not have been fully aware of. The attacks that came and somehow did not reach their intended target, the opposition that organized and then stalled before it could do what it was designed to do, the danger you were never fully aware of because it was addressed before it reached you. That guarding is real, and it continues into the season of the stirring's expression. The God who moved heaven over your life is not going to allow what he has assembled to be taken by what he did not intend. You are covered, chosen one, in the stirring and in everything the stirring produces. Number 7. The chosen one who was faithful in the hidden season is the one God stirs heaven over. There is a connection between what you did in private and what is being released publicly. The faithfulness that no one witnessed, the prayers in the early morning hours before anyone else was awake, the integrity maintained in the moment where compromise would have been invisible to everyone but God, the worship offered in the middle of the pain when there was no visible reason to worship. That private faithfulness is what moves heaven. Not the public performance, not the visible acts that carry the kind of evidence an audience can evaluate. The private ones, the ones that cost something real and produce nothing visible in return except the deepening of the relationship between the chosen one and the God who was watching. God does not overlook private faithfulness. He keeps a record that no human audience has access to. And when he moves on behalf of a chosen one, what he moves in response to is not the summary that other people would write of their life. It is the full record, including every private moment of genuine faith. Your private faithfulness is in the record, and it is what stirred what was stirred. Keep being faithful in the private moments, chosen one, because what is done in the private for an audience of one is what the public expression of your calling is built upon. Number 8. This moment in history is not an accident. You were placed here with purpose. Every chosen one exists at a specific point in time for a reason. The particular challenges of your era, the particular needs of the people you were placed among, the particular gaps that only your specific combination of gifts and calling can fill. You were not born into this generation by chance. You were placed here by the design of a God who orders the times and the seasons of every life he appoints. The world you are living in right now needs something specific, not a general goodness, a specific contribution, the one that only comes from a person shaped by the exact journey you have walked, carrying the exact gifts God placed in you, standing at the exact point in history where your expression of your calling intersects with the need that is present. History has not seen this because this moment has not happened before. And the chosen one assigned to this moment has not walked this earth before. You are here now, not for a past generation that already had its chosen ones. For this one, rise into that awareness, not with pride, with the sober, grounded understanding of someone who knows that their presence in this time and place is not random, it is intentional. And living intentionally in response to that intention is the highest calling available to a chosen one in any generation. Number 9. The stirring produces something that outlasts the generation it moves through. What God stirs over a chosen one's life does not produce effects that end with that chosen one's lifetime. The ripple moves forward, into the next generation and the one after that, into the lives that were changed by the expression of a calling that was faithfully lived, into the ideas that were planted and kept growing after the one who planted them was no longer present to tend them. This is the eternal dimension of a chosen one's assignment. What you build in faithfulness does not stop when your season ends. It continues through the people you shaped, through the work you created, through the truth you spoke that found its way into hearts, that carried it forward into lives you never met. History has not seen this before because the specific contribution you are about to make has not been made before. And what it produces in the world will be part of the ongoing story long after this generation has become the one that history looks back on. Live with that awareness. Build with that awareness. Give with that awareness. Because what you do in faithfulness in your specific moment in time carries weight that you will never fully be able to measure. Number 10, stay close to God as the stirring moves into expression. This is the most important practical word of part 1. As what God stirred begins to express itself in the visible circumstances of your life, as the doors open and the connections form and the opportunities arrive, stay close to the one who stirred it, not just in the moments of need, in the ordinary days, in the morning before the day begins, in the quiet moments when the doing stops and the being with God can happen, in the returning to the source that keeps the expression of the calling connected to the heart of the one who issued the calling. The chosen one who stays close to God through the expression of what he stirred is the chosen one whose expression remains pure, who gives from a full place rather than an empty one, who does not drift from the character that produced the faithfulness that moved heaven in the first place. Stay close. The stirring is real. The expression is coming. And the one who stirred it is walking with you into everything it produces. Number 11. What is unusual about your journey is exactly what qualified you for this. There were things about your path that never fit the standard template, seasons that did not follow the expected progression, gifts that did not express themselves in the conventional way. A journey that looked unconventional from the outside and sometimes felt that way from the inside too. But what made your path unusual is what made it yours. The specific bends and the specific depths and the specific challenges that no one else's journey contained in the same combination, and that uniqueness is not a flaw in the design. It is the design. God does not produce chosen ones from a template. He forms them through specific and unrepeatable journeys that produce specific and unrepeatable callings. The unusual thing about your path was producing the unusual thing that your calling requires. What looked like deviation was preparation. What looked like the wrong road was the specific road that led to this moment. The divine realm was stirred over a life that has not followed a predictable path. That is part of what makes the stirring significant. What God is assembling has not been assembled before because the person he is assembling it for has not been formed before. In this way, through this journey, into this specific calling, what was unusual about your path is your qualification, not your obstacle. Number 12. The enemy tried to stop what he saw coming before you did. This reframes the opposition of the past season, the attacks that came, the resistance that was unusually organized and unusually targeted, the warfare that felt disproportionate to where you were standing. The enemy saw what was being assembled over your life before you had the full picture of it. He does not attack randomly. He targets what threatens his agenda most, and a chosen one, whose life is about to produce something that has not been seen before, is exactly the kind of threat that warrants concentrated opposition. The intensity of what came against you was confirmation, not of your weakness, of the significance of what was being prepared. He was trying to interrupt a process he could see more clearly than you could, trying to derail the formation before it completed, trying to prevent the stirring from translating into expression. He did not succeed, because what God stirs over a chosen one, he also guards. And the formation that was happening in you during the most intense opposition was not being undermined by the opposition. It was being proven by it. You came through. The formation is complete. And the enemy's opposition now stands as additional testimony that what is unfolding in your life is significant enough to have been worth opposing. Number 13, the people who did not understand your season will understand your expression. There were people who watched your journey with confusion, who could not see why things were unfolding the way they were, who questioned the path and the pace and the direction, who saw a chosen one walking through something unusual and could not find the framework to make sense of it. They will understand when the expression comes, when the stirring in the divine realm becomes visible in the circumstances of your life, when the doors open in ways that make the path suddenly make sense. When the contribution you were being prepared to make is made and the people who witnessed the preparation finally see what it was preparing for, you do not need to explain the journey to them while it is happening. The expression will be its own explanation. When they see what God has done and what is being released through your life, the unusual path will reveal itself as the only path that could have produced this. Let the life speak. It will make sense to them in time. Number 14. History being made does not always feel significant while it is happening. The moments in history that mattered most rarely announced themselves as historic while they were occurring. The person in the middle of them was simply doing the next thing, making the next decision, staying faithful in the next moment. The significance was not felt in real time the way it reads in retrospect. You may not feel the weight of what is being stirred over your life right now. You may not feel historic. You may feel tired and uncertain and still processing the season that produced the formation. That is honest. And it does not diminish what God is moving over your life. The significance is real whether you feel it or not. The stirring has happened whether the feeling confirms it or not. And the expression of what is being assembled will be undeniable when it comes, regardless of what the season of waiting felt like while it was being walked through. Do not wait to feel the significance before you step into the expression. The feeling often follows the stepping, and the stepping happens in faith before the feeling confirms it. Step, chosen one. The stirring is real, the history is being made, and the full weight of what it means will become clear in the unfolding. Number 15. What God assembles for a chosen one is complete. Nothing is missing. One of the fears that comes in a season of anticipation is the fear that what is coming will be incomplete, that there will be a gap between what was promised and what actually arrives, that the provision will be partial, the doors only partially open, the blessing only partially released. But God does not assemble incomplete things for chosen ones. He has moved heaven over. What he prepares fully, every piece accounted for, every detail attended to, every resource positioned, every connection arranged. What is coming toward your life in this season is not a partial answer to what you have been believing for. It is the full answer, prepared with the completeness of a God who does not cut corners in what he builds for the ones he has specifically chosen and specifically formed through specific seasons of specific difficulty. Receive it fully when it comes. Do not receive a portion and wait nervously for the rest. Open yourself to the complete provision of a God who assembles complete things. It is coming, fully, as complete as the one who prepared it is perfect. Number 16. Your response to what God is doing matters. When the divine realm stirs over a chosen one and begins to move in the visible circumstances of their life, The chosen one's response shapes how fully the expression can unfold, not because God's ability to deliver is limited by human response, but because the chosen one who receives what God is doing with faith and faithfulness and the right posture is the one who stewards it in a way that allows it to reach its full expression. The wrong responses are available. Pride that attributes to self what belongs to God, passivity that receives without the stewardship of active faithfulness, distraction that takes the eyes off the source while the gift is being enjoyed, fear that holds the gift at arm's length rather than receiving it fully. The right response is simpler: gratitude, continued faithfulness, staying close to God as the expression unfolds, stewarding what is given with the same care that was given in the asking, remaining humble enough to know that what has arrived is grace and not something generated by personal merit. Respond rightly, chosen one. What is being assembled is significant, and the chosen one who receives and stewards significant things with the right posture is the one through whom those significant things reach their full impact in the world. Number 17, you carry something that your generation needs. Give it fully. This is not a time for holding back, not a time for the careful, calculated, measured release of what God has placed in you. It is a time for full expression, for bringing everything that the formation produced into the open spaces where it was designed to function. Your generation needs what you carry, not a version of it that has been reduced for comfort or edited for safety. The real thing, the depth that was built in the difficult seasons, the faith that was proven in the waiting, the wisdom that was forged in the fire, the compassion that came from having needed compassion yourself, the testimony that was written in the seasons that nearly broke you and did not. All of it is needed, and the chosen one over whose life the divine realm was stirred is not called to give a portion. They are called to give fully. Give it all. Hold nothing back out of fear or uncertainty or the old habit of protecting yourself from the cost of being fully seen. The world is not asking for your protected version. It needs the real one. You are the real one. Give fully from that place. Number 18. This is the beginning of something that will be told long after this moment. What is starting in your life right now will not stay in this moment. It will move through the people you serve, through the work you build, through the lives that are changed by the expression of what God assembled over your life in this season, and it will be told, not by you necessarily, by the people it touches. The stories they carry about what they witnessed in your life and what it produced in them will move through time in ways you will not fully track. Some of them will become the testimony of the next generation's chosen ones. Some of them will be the proof that someone in a future season needs to believe that God is still moving. You are not just living a life. You are creating a record, one that will be read by people who have not yet been born, in circumstances that do not yet exist, as evidence of a God who has always been faithful to the chosen ones he has formed and called and moved heaven over. Live accordingly, not with the weight of performance, with the freedom of someone who knows that faithfulness is all that is required and that God handles everything the faithfulness produces. Number 19, heaven stirred. Now earth is about to respond. The sequence has begun. What moved in the divine realm moves next into the visible one. What was assembled in the unseen begins to appear in the seen. What God set in motion over your life is now in the process of translating from the spiritual into the circumstantial. Earth is about to respond to what heaven stirred. The people who are being positioned in your path are approaching. The doors being prepared are moving toward opening. The resources being arranged are moving toward release. The specific expression of your specific calling is moving toward its moment of full visibility. Stay ready. Stay faithful. Stay close to the one who stirred it, and step forward into every opening that appears with the full confidence of a chosen one who knows that what is happening in their life right now is not ordinary. It is the response of a God who saw faithfulness that endured beyond its reasonable limit and moved heaven accordingly. History has not seen this before, because you have not been here before. And what God does through a chosen one who has endured through everything that tried to stop them, who has been formed through everything that was meant to break them, who has remained faithful through every season of testing and silence and accusation and delay, is something that carries a weight the world has not yet fully witnessed until now. Like this video if you felt this message was written for your season. Subscribe to this channel because what is next was prepared specifically for the chosen one stepping into this kind of moment. Share this with someone who needs to know that the divine realm is not silent and is not still. And comment below with the word stirred, because that is what happened over your life. God bless you, chosen one. Heaven moved. Now watch what earth does in response.